Hi, thanks for tuning in today. Today I want to review this Greek New Testament. This is something that you can buy for $25 or $30, but not quite like this. You can't get it in this nice Sakota goat leather separately bound like this one is for $25 or $30. You can get it separately bound in a paperback. They also had a hardback, which is kind of out of print right now, which is really expensive. But you can buy the complete Hebrew Greek Bible published by Hendrickson right now as one volume for about 25 or 30 bucks. And that's a really good deal. I've had mine bound separately. So Leonard's separated the Greek side from the Hebrew side and separately bound the Greek because I liked it so much. So a lot of you will know that I'm really interested in the Byzantine text. So I do wish that this edition had as its main text the more of a Byzantine-based text. However, this is based on the work of Westcott and Hort. This is the text that they had produced. And so it's a result of their scholarship. And the thing that makes it useful to me is it not only has the Westcott and Hort text, but it also has in its apparatus the variations between itself and the Byzantine text as represented by the Robinson-Pierpont text. This is made for really clean reading. The font size is beautiful and large. It's some of the most beautiful typesetting of the Greek New Testament that I think I've seen. You can compare it to the Tyndale Greek New Testament, and what I hope you can see is that the Tyndale's known for its beauty, its elegance. In my opinion, this one that's been put out by Hendrickson is even better. The font is larger than the 9.5 to 10-point font of the Tyndale. This is probably, maybe an 11-point font, something like that. Very beautiful, and I love the generous margin space that you're given to make your own notes. So one of the things, as someone who is interested in textual variants, that you have to do if you're wanting to see the variants, you sort of have to mark them yourself. You can look down here that humon is a variant after patros. So you have to kind of mark that variant yourself if you're going to be alerted to it in the text, because just like the Tyndale, there's nothing in the text that's going to alert you to tell you where the differences are. So you've got in your apparatus the differences between the Robinson-Pierpont text and the Nestle-Aland text from the Westcott and Hort text. The Westcott and Hort text and the Nestle-Aland are pretty similar, very close to one another, whereas the Robinson-Pierpont text deviates some, I don't know, maybe 5,000 to 6,000 times. I haven't counted, but that's a kind of an estimate that's out there. But it's really handy to be able to see those differences, and if you're used to reading more of a Texas Receptus-based text, then you're going to, if you're reading the main body of this text, there's going to be times where you just notice these differences and they kind of stand out to you. So I've got 3 ribbon markers in mine, but the Hendrickson edition is going to have 2 ribbon markers with it. The reason I had this separately bound is because I wasn't really using the Hebrew section. I was using the Greek section, and this is probably, I haven't measured it, probably about 1.25 inches thick, something like that, because this has amazing paper quality. I mean, the paper quality on this is just outstanding. So this is one of my very favorite Greek New Testaments of the critical edition Greek New Testaments. This is my favorite, mainly because of the layout, the font, and the consistency of showing any variant that has any sort of exegetical difference at all between itself and the Robinson-Pierpont text. There are some times, I think the apparatus was done a little hastily in this edition, so there are a few times where you can find some kind of blunders in the apparatus, which you're probably going to find that in just about any Greek New Testament. But I just have a feeling they did this one a little bit in haste. But you can see they've got the word add there when they really should have had omit. Same way on this page. They said add when they should have said omit. Some minor differences like that, where they've just made some mistakes in the apparatus, so that's something to be aware of. But overall, this is just a beautiful edition. It will come from Hendrickson. The Hendrickson edition is a sewn edition. So for $25 to $30, you can get a very nice Hebrew and Greek Bible, but just the Greek New Testament itself is worth it. In my opinion, and for my purposes, it's even more useful than the Tyndale Greek New Testament. So it's interesting because this Greek New Testament and this Greek New Testament are a couple of my very favorite Greek New Testaments, and they stand at sort of opposite ends of the spectrum. This was the work of Westcott and Hort. This is the work of Scrivener, F.H.A. Scrivener. These men were on the committee for the revised version of the Bible. And oftentimes Scrivener would be pulling on one end and Westcott and Hort would be pulling on the other. Contrary to what some people might think, Scrivener was not himself a TR, what we call a TR onlyist. But he did often favor Byzantine readings over Alexandrian readings. So it's pitted Scrivener up against Westcott and Hort. So it's very interesting to be able to see the work of these men. The interesting thing about Scrivener's edition here is he took the Textus Receptus as it came down through Beza, and then he modified it with in accordance with other editions of the Textus Receptus to match what the decisions of the King James Version translators were themselves. And where the revised version itself differed from the Beza, or from the Textus Receptus, that's where you had these marginal notes. So anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting to show you kind of the two ends of the spectrum here. And for me, the cool thing about the Westcott and Hort text is while it's very similar to the Nestle-Aland text, it differs from it. I think James Knapp has estimated somewhere between 600 to 700, something like that, times. What's interesting about it is the Westcott and Hort, unlike the editors of the Nestle-Aland text, never put any conjectural emendations in the main body of their text. So they didn't put readings in there that existed in no Greek manuscript like the Nestle-Aland text does. So for a lot of people, the name Westcott and Hort carries some baggage with it. But that's going to come down to personal choice and how you feel about some of those things. But I will say that as far as the sheer beauty of this Greek New Testament and its usability with the font size and being able to see the differences very readily between the Robinson Pierpont text, the Byzantine text in itself, and the Nestle-Aland text. This is basically like 3 editions in one. I will say it's designed mostly for reading. So, it's just kind of meant to draw you in. Just like the Tyndale, there's no alerts in the text itself to tell you when there's a variant. You sort of have to mark that up yourself. But, for all those reasons, the paper quality, the margin space, the beautiful font, the lovely layout, and one other thing I'll mention is the bolding of putting in bold the allusions and quotations from the Old Testament is extremely helpful sometimes. And I think Westcott and Hort actually deserves some good credit for catching some of the ones that they did. That may be a distraction to you. You might not be interested in it, but I've found it sometimes to be helpful. What they did in their original text was they actually made it all capitals, where they felt like there was a quotation from the Septuagint or something like that. but this typesetting has made that bold instead. There's English subheadings here. So of all the editions of the Greek New Testament, as far as just sheer beauty, I think this is the most beautiful one, and it's very useful, very affordable. It's hard to find such a value for $25 to $30 to get such a volume as this one is, and sewn and all those good things. So anyways, just some quick thoughts on this Greek New Testament, and hope to see you on the next one.